Hey guys, so like in previous video, we have built a basic pipeline around which we have seen what are stages, how you can deal with script tags, how you can keep on adding stages into a pipeline. So today we'll see like what are the images, what is the importance of image tag, what are tags variable we can use, and we can run our pipeline in customized runners and the environment keyword. So we'll start off. So we'll click on this edit again. So we'll use as in previous class I mentioned, you can use a prescribed image to run your entire command. So for that you have to use a tag called as an image. In image, so you have to give a particular image name. So let's say either it can be a docker image or any kind of a ruby image or python environment which you need, so that your commands need to be executed in that particular environment. So you have to choose a right image for that, and you can give that particular image name, so that it will be publicly available, and it can pull up that image and create a container out of that, and it can execute the commands which you have written in script tag. So here we can use something called as a docker uh, 19.0.0.0.3 or 03.212. So this is the docker image. We'll use this docker image and build our entire uh, container and run our scripts from that container. So in the same way, to activate so there is something called as a dind image. So we have to activate the docker services, so we'll use that services. So we should add a one more command, as by default you cannot run docker containers or docker based stuff in GitLab. So you need to do some workaround, and you have to use that docker image, and you have to activate like the initial services which docker needs to be activated once it is set up. So you have to do it manually, so that once you're done with that, so you can run any commands inside the docker. So you have to give a variable. So now we also came across a new keyword which is called a variable. So variables is nothing but is a user defined. So whenever it is defined inside the particular stage, it acts as a local variable, so it will be available only inside this particular stage. So let's say if you want to define at a global level, so you can define that at particular global level, and you can give anything um, which you require. So you can give like describe for testing. You can so you can consume this variable from any of the other two stages, or any of the stage which you will be building on later stages. So this is global variable, and and if you mention anything inside particular stage, it acts as a local variable. So in the same way, so you have to activate some of the things which are like, these are the documentation you will get, and you should be knowing why we need to do these things. So it is docker certs. So docker tls certs. So once that is done, so you have to enable the services. So services is nothing but, so that is the some of the services which you need to activate on top, on front, so that your docker image which you have chosen will work fine, to work properly. So this indentation. Okay. So that is docker same image. So so we have seen how you can add an image. And now if anytime if we run this pipeline, we can see that only this particular image will be pulled, and on top of this our entire commands will get executed. Earlier we can see that GitLab was using some Ruby image, so now it will use this particular image to run our entire commands. So once that is done, so now here we can test out our variable. So let's say we have defined a global variable. So here we'll use that variable. So to as we know, to call any variable or to print that any variable, so we have in GitLab we have to use that, but we have to use a dollar symbol and call that particular variable. So you can use dollar and you can call the describe variable. So if we use that particular thing, so the value which we have given for that particular variable, it will be printed in this particular uh, echo statement. So just if we'll commit, so we'll see if any errors, it will throw us an error over here. So I think it's fine. So we'll go into the pipeline page. So S1 is started. So now we'll come to know. So here you can see earlier we were getting Ruby image. So now it is downloading the Docker specific image name which we had given by manually. So the customized image which we had given. So takes couple of time, couple of minutes actually. So I think that is done. So now we can see the image which it has pulled. This particular it is running on this particular shade runner, and we can see this at top over here, this Docker 19 version. So once that is done, in the same way it has executed our scripts. So if anything goes wrong, it would exit with exit code greater than 1. So if you go to the stage 2, so it is also done. So we can see here the variable value which we had given in our pipeline for testing, it has it has printed over here. So like this you can consume the or consume any variable which you have defined at global level. But if you try to consume the same variable which you had mentioned in S1, it would not have been printed. So entire life cycle of this, so let's say how GitLab handles is anything which is run inside this particular environment, which will be just until your pipeline gets executed. After this everything will be destroyed, so you can't go back and do any modifications over there. So the entire life cycle will stay only till your pipeline gets executed. So you can modify this duration. So let's say if your pipeline takes more than 1 hour, it will automatically uh, pause at after the 1 hour, so that you can increase this duration of timeline if your pipeline taking more amount of time. So you can do this settings from settings tab which we have seen in previous classes. uh, so now we'll go back to the pipelines repository, and we'll do do some more changes. So we'll click on this GitLab. So you can, it's not like we'll be dealing with a single environment. For user understanding perspective or easy to code, so you can add environment variable, so that you can say either to which stage or which environment. So let's say there will be dev, QA, pre-prod, prod, testing, many stage, many environments will be there. So you can give the name to this stage, so that on which environment it needs to be run. So you can say uh, it needs to be running in development dev, something like that, dev environment. So whenever this gets executed, so it will be executing in the particular environment. So we'll also see uh, how you can run this particular entire stage in particular kind of a runner. So we'll take another copy of this, and if you go into settings, so you can find the runners tab over there from CI/CD. So if you go on to click on this runners, so you will be available with various number of runners. These are managed by GitLab. So whichever you need, you can choose and you can run. So you can say, so let's say you are running some PowerShell scripts. You need to choose a Windows specific runner or a Windows type of base OS. Otherwise, you cannot run your Windows scripts. So in the same way, so let's say I'm running some kind of a Linux, so I can choose this particular Docker. So these are the blue color things are the tags. So by using these tags, you can call this particular runner and run all the commands whichever you need inside that particular runner. It's nothing but a OS which is hosted. On top of that, you can run all these commands. So let's say I want this particular something related to four shade runners managed by GitLab.org default. So I can use this tag Docker. So I'll create one more key name. So this is tag. So and I can give Docker. So now anytime you see this particular runner, so you can make a note or something like that. So whenever now it used to call randomly every time whenever you execute a pipeline, it used to get you a runner out of somewhere and it used to give. So let's say you want even you can set up your own runners specifically for this project also. So if you have hosted any GK cluster or any of your managed data centers or anything, so you can host a runner for this particular pipeline or particular entire organization project, and you can start setting up this. So in the same way, um, now we have used this as a Docker. So Docker based tag, this thing will be invoked. So now if you click on this commit, so now in the same way you cannot make much changes because these are the backend changes which we have done. So here we can see 62 something BB2. So now this particular runner we can search over here, which will be having a Docker tag. I don't know why it's not able to detect. So in the same way, so enter pipeline would get executed, and you can successfully build your pipeline.